Okay, Trevor Bauer reinstated. Can we move on? Is that enough of this topic yet? I'm already over it.
uh, yeah.
All right, so Trevor Bauer reinstated by the MLB. Um, Obviously, baseball's greatest villain to ever exist. Maybe short of Barry Bonds, but for very different reasons. So we got loads of comments here.
And that's
Neither
why
of
we're
us really want
listen,
to address this, but
because we're idiots, we're just comics, we're not really the type to delve into this heavy of a subject, and it is a very heavy and divisive subject. It's funny, we just talked how divisive Ricky Tiedemann is, but that doesn't even scratch the surface of divisive when you're talking Trevor Bauer. So we are going to address this. We did have enough questions and comments that we are going to get into it. Let's read over some of those questions.
all right. So first one from Darian on Twitter DM'd and asked, Trevor Bauer getting reinstated and released from LA. Is he an option for the Jays? We were third in the running when it came to him before, and the Mets don't have room. That's never stopped the Mets before.
Yeah.
Anyways, the Mets don't have room and the Dodgers don't want him, so maybe it's Jays time. And then Boba Cards on Twitter also asked thoughts on Jays going after Bauer. Look, we had several dozen comments in
Yes.
this vein. Sorry if we didn't get to yours specifically, but here's the general response: zero chance the Blue Jays and the Rogers Communications as an organization are going to touch Trevor Bauer with a 10-foot pole. Am I overstating
I
that?
I think that you just nailed it 100% as to the possibility of the Jays going after Trevor Bauer. So let's talk a little bit about Trevor Bauer here. John Heyman tweeted that the Dodgers have until January 6th to decide if they want to keep Bauer. It is totally within Los Angeles's rights to pay him out and set him free on the free agent market for the other 29 teams to pursue. Now, at that point, it would be on a very low level contract. We're talking, I think, and I'd need to double check on the rules, but I think that he would need to take this first year at league minimum salary. Now, of course, does that hurt him? No, because the Los Angeles Dodgers are paying him out like $42 million or something like that.
Okay.
Bauer has been reinstated. I think it was 144 games in suspension time that he served. His criminal charges were dropped. There are two ways to look at this, and this is where things get
There
dicey.
are
And
still
and
civil lawsuits pending and like some
yes,
legal stuff that needs to be sorted out and whatever. But yeah, sorry, continue.
basically, and Adam and I talked about this beforehand because we really wish to tread lightly on this subject for a few reasons. Number one, obviously, we're well aware of what a triggering and awful subject this is for anyone who's ever underwent any sort of abuse in any sort of way. And obviously, there is zero place for it in the game. There According to a lot of the stuff that has been released, it does look like there is a gray area here because it's either spoiled athlete is just a giant piece of shit, or woman takes advantage, sees an opportunity to get paid. But I think we both agree that it's probably somewhere in the middle. He probably stepped over some lines. It seemed like this rough sex stuff was somewhat consensual. It's a real gray area. And obviously, we are not qualified to make any sort of
A moral
stance,
stance, yeah.
moral stance.
Like he's going to return to baseball, as you said. The truth lies somewhere in the middle. We, as the general public, as
We'll
anybody,
never know.
will
We
will
will
never
never
know.
know how this played out.
And unfortunately, that is the case with so many domestic violence situations, sexual abuse situations. A lot of times, unfortunately, it does come down to he said, she said,
Mm-hmm.
which is unfortunately where a lot of predators do take advantage of gray areas and get away
Yes.
with a lot of stuff. That's crime in general. Um, He's going to return to baseball. It won't be with the Blue Jays.
And it won't be with the Blue Jays. The Toronto Blue Jays and this
Look at
Rogers
Roberto Osuna,
Communication,
right?
exactly what I was going to get to, right? This Rogers Communication ownership group has already proven that if there is even just a sniff of that sort of problematic situation,
Mm-hmm.
that they are done. They are
Gone.
going to clean their hands of it. We watched Roberto Osuna shipped out in weeks after it came out.
Yep. And he
And
was dominant for the Blue Jays.
And he was dominant for the Blue Jays. He may be the best closer this team has ever seen outside of Tom Hankey, Dwayne Ward, and those World Series winning teams. Now, after watching the precedent set by this ownership group when it comes to assault allegations, there is no way they are dipping their toe in the Trevor Bauer waters. There's just no way.
No.
Now, on top of that, I think that Los Angeles is going to release him because there are a lot of rumors and a lot of talk that he wasn't very well liked in that clubhouse. So that's another little caveat to this whole thing, right? Is there going to be a home for him somewhere in Major League Baseball? I think there will be, but I think that the Blue Jays are very cognizant of the clubhouse that they are building. They've always been a team that really values quality character.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, however you feel about Bauer and however you feel about the situation that he is in, Trevor Bauer is not really a beacon of light when it comes to a symbol of character.
One can only hope that he gets in deep conversation with the San Francisco Giants and then signs somewhere else.
The Mets. He will go to the Mets.
For the league minimum. Yeah, absolutely. For the league minimum. This story isn't going to go away, but I don't really care to address it ever again.
Yeah.
We are not the right people to do that. We appreciate the comments and the questions about it. If he signs with the Blue Jays, I'm happy to talk about it once again. But beyond that,
but I'm very confident there's no way. So,
all right, let's move on from there then.
We really appreciate all of you within the walk-off community. This thing continues to grow and become an animal of its own. It's a little bit overwhelming, but honestly, we love talking Blue Jays baseball and all the interaction that you folks are involved with us. Thank you so much. Discord, feel free to join it. That is always free. The show, or the link is in the show notes. You can follow us on Twitter at Walk Off Podcast, on Instagram, the Walk Off Podcast. And if you are watching on YouTube currently and you're not subscribed, we'd really appreciate if you hit that subscribe button. All the best, everybody. Cheers.